Hello, hey everybody. So usually I do this on Mondays at noon, and I typically go live. But what I had to do was pull in some experts. Now, remember last week I had mentioned that, hey guys, I'm going to pull in some experts to kind of ask, so that you can ask these questions and get them answered about small business lending and all that stuff. And my experience as an entrepreneur. So I want to just introduce myself again for those that haven't watched it. I'm May Whiteside. I am a entrepreneur in Chicago. I own an engineering firm called CKL Engineers, and my show is Mentor Moments with May. And to my left is Carl Riley. He is a vice president of small business lending. And to my right, I have Roberto Beto Montana. He is a real estate broker with Keller Williams. So I'm glad that you guys were able to just help me talk to the audience about demystifying business credit. It's so many small business owners that they have a business, they have a dream, but they need to finance it. And sometimes we're not quite ready with just having our ducks in a row.
Sure.
We don't understand what building up our assets personally, and we need to figure out how to build up our assets just on our balance sheets for the company. And you don't want to be the business owner who have employees and you can't make payroll or you can't feed yourself. And so I wanted to get kind of like an unfiltered kind of, business advice from a lending perspective, from building assets with Roberto. It's kind of like this thing where you just want to be on a solid financial footing and you want to be able to jump over any hurdle that come your way. So I will gladly tell you I'm always telling my business on here, but I'm just being real. I started CKL with $750.
Respect.
And there's a particular ordinance with the city to which I had to confirm that I stopped full-time employment at my day job. I was trying to explain to them, yes, I'm a minority, I'm a woman-owned business. I can still handle my business and work full-time somewhere else. I just need to eat until that first job broke. So after having to confirm that, I coasted off $750. That was not really coasting. I'm a single parent. Had a mortgage and everything, and then my first contract started. I had to hire an employee, and then I just went. I couldn't keep my doors open long enough to collect my first invoice. I was able to get through it, but then somehow I met Carl through all of this. So, and I know I go into different tangents, but I just wanted to just say, Carl, I might be a painter, and I need a crew of like 6. We just won this big CPS contract. My credit score is 550, but I got this big dream. Can I have a line of credit? I need about $25,000, $30,000. What would you tell me?
All right. So, and what you talked about right now is like a real thing, because people want to start their dream. They have their business. They have the ability to do it. It's a wealth of ability to do something, but they need to have those other things that the bank needs in place, right? So you need your collateral, you need cash flow. And cash flow is what you kind of create. You have these contracts. So where are you at right now? You're saying you have a credit score of 550. You've got the wealth of experience and ability to do something, and you now need to get somebody to help you to get that started, right?
Yeah.
So what I would do with you in that situation is, one, coach you on how to get that credit score back to where you need to be so you can get that financing traditionally through a bank. But I'm also going to say banks are one way to get money, all right? So there's different ways you can get money, right? As a business owner, as me coming into the game, just thinking about what I want to do in my life, I'm preparing myself at all times to be ready for whatever comes my way. So, what that means is I need to understand what my lifestyle costs, right? And if I understand what my personal budget is, I can start eliminating some of those things that are frivolous. People love coffee. Have some coffee. Just don't buy $7 coffee. Think about how you can get, if you want to travel, how you can kind of eliminate some of the cost of traveling. Maybe, you can do standby. Maybe you can do Something else where you can pool your resources together and do road trips instead of flying everywhere. Maybe you don't fly as much as you want to do. But just figure out what your costs are and try to get them down so that way you have capital or sitting on the sideline to deploy. So as I advise these business clients every day. All right, number one, let's look at your personal financial situation and understand what you have as far as your income and your expenses. Now let's look at what you got on your balance sheet, which is what all people who want to become wealthy should look at every day. You should look at your balance sheet. And we'll look at your assets, your home, your stocks, your cash, and then your liabilities. We want to figure out what your net worth is going to be. And that thing is something that I do on a monthly basis personally because I want to see if I'm deploying my cash or whatever I've got, debt, whatever I'm using, where I feel comfortable with it. So, the business owner, you got a contract with CPS. They believe in you, and they believe in your work. You need 25 grand, all right? I'm going to ask some more questions. What exactly does that mean? Like 25 grand for what?
Okay.
Right? And so you're going to take something. It might be some equipment. It's a legit concern. You have some equipment that you need. So that's, whatever it is that you come up with that tells me I need this 25 grand, now I'm going to get creative with you.
Okay.
And we're going to figure out how we can do this project without having to buy that equipment. Is it a rent lease situation where we can come in and use somebody else's equipment that's not doing anything with it at a time and give them a few dollars and we can do this project and get that big sale and get that money coming in because we want cash flow.
Yeah.
Cash flow is the name of the game. And if we can get some flow in cash in our business, then we can pay our credit down and get our credit score up. We can solve a lot of problems.
Now, you mentioned financial statements. Can you explain what are those and why they're so important for me as a business owner to give to you?
All right. So financial statements, what that means is that you want to have an income statement and a balance sheet, and you want to be able to look at these two documents. You can provide it to you by a certified public accountant. There are several. If you go and Google it in the area, that can help you. What you want to find out is how busy they are, because when they get busy, it's hard for you to get your answers. And so, I found people that have gotten great referrals to CPAs, but the CPA is just so busy that they become the 10th, 12th, 15th client that they pay attention to. So you really need to have somebody that cares about you and what you're trying to accomplish so you can ask your questions to. So these reports should be provided on a monthly basis. You can get QuickBooks also to help you input all that information. It's fine for you to manage too, because you need to have these reports to understand if you're making money. And if you're not making money, you need to understand why you're not making money so that you can manage your business. A lot of people lose money, don't even know why they're losing it. You ask them, what's going on with the credit score, what's going on with your business, and they tell you they want to borrow money, but they don't know how they're going to make it back. And so by having those financial statements, the income statement is a document that shows you how much money you grossed, and then all your expenses, and gross is the top line number, that's your sales. And then all your expenses, like your employees, that's usually the biggest expense for a small business owner. Maybe your rent, interest expense, depreciation, all those things at the end, and then you'll have some money left over at the bottom, God willing, and that's your net income. So if you have that left over at the bottom, that's going to allow me or anybody to invest in your business. Bankers are the cheapest form of investing. Expensive way of investing is a partner, because they're going to own a piece of your business forever. And so that's equity. While debt is a loan, it pays back over a period of time. You can usually make us work against each other to get the lowest rate, and then you will be able to pay it off in a reasonable amount of time, as long as you are showing a net income at the bottom.
Can you tell me a bit about where my credit score needs to be? Because I will tell you, when I started out with CKL, my credit score was in the 400s.
Okay.
But it is what it was, because I didn't have a job and I was forced to kind of, prove that I was 100% working in my business. So my credit score, I lost over 100 points in my credit score. Is there a magic credit score that I need to be at for a banker to say, okay, you're good? And then tell me about, I keep hearing about ways to bump up your credit score. Does that credit repair?
This credit
kind of a
Credit repair is a
You know
real
what I
thing.
mean.
I used to like, I too have gone through some things, right?
Yeah.
So I'll be honest with you. There's been a situation in the past where I was young and aggressive, and I went out there and bought 4 houses before I was 24, and bought houses in, I said the best house in the worst neighborhood.
Oh.
All right, so that was a young man slap on the hand. Buying the best house in the worst neighborhood is not what you want to do. Do not buy the best house in the worst neighborhood. You may feel like you're making the neighborhood better, but you're not. What you want to do is get you a really nice neighborhood and get you the average house in that neighborhood. All right, so if I'm talking to you small business owners, you want to be in a position of having some equity in your home, get you a nice neighborhood and get you the average house in it with the old 1970s bathroom or whatever you got. Don't fall in love with any stuff. Fall in love with the equity. All right?
Fall in love with the equity. Did you hear that? Fall in love with the equity.
Make sure your neighbors take care of that house better than you do so you can get some of that home equity. All right?
Yeah.
That's a great place for us to go to and get some
Cash flow. Okay.